Imagine heading toward a crucial destination, but the two people in the front seats are physically fighting over the steering wheel. That was the Indian National Congress in the early 1900s. They all wanted a free India, but couldn't agree on how to drive there. On one side, you had the moderates. They wanted to stay in the slow lane. Their strategy was to write polite petitions, ask the British government for gradual reforms, and play strictly by the rules. On the other side were the fierce nationalists, called the Extremists. They were entirely out of patience. They wanted to floor the accelerator, demanding aggressive protests and immediate self-rule. It didn't matter that both groups wanted to reach the exact same destination. When two drivers completely despise each other's methods, a crash is just a matter of time. That inevitable crash started brewing a year earlier, in 1906. The nationalist faction managed to push Congress Party into adopting a much more aggressive stance. The extremists pushed for 4 non-negotiable demands: total self-rule, or Swaraj, the exclusive use of local Indian goods, or Swadeshi, a massive boycott of British imports, and a new system of national education. This photograph shows what that pressure looked like on the ground. A giant spinning wheel is being paraded through the crowd, serving as a massive symbol of the movement to reject British cloth and support local industry. The moderates were terrified by this militant energy. Their leader, Firoz Shah Mehta, despised these 4 new pillars and made it his mission to delete them from the party's official agenda. With the moderates refusing to accept these tactics and the nationalists refusing to let them go, the upcoming 1907 meeting was no longer a standard conference. It was held on a knife's edge. Every year, the Congress Party held a massive meeting to decide their next steps. In 1907, that meeting was originally scheduled to happen in the city of Pune. There was just one problem for the moderates. Pune was heavily populated with supporters of the aggressive nationalist faction. Fearing they would be drowned out by the local crowd, the moderates pulled a tactical maneuver. They used their administrative power and shifted the entire conference to the city of Surat, a region where they felt much safer and had a stronger base of support. Once the location was secured, they needed their guy in the driver's seat. The moderates nominated a safe, predictable candidate for party president, Rash Behari Ghosh. The nationalists countered by pushing for their own powerful voice, Lal-Bal-Pal Rai. But Rai could see how tense things were getting. Realizing that a bitter election might tear the party apart right then and there, he stepped down and refused to run. But his sacrifice didn't fix the underlying problem. It didn't matter who held the title of president when the two sides were still prepared to go to war over the map they were using. When the delegates finally arrived in Surat in December 1907, the tension was palpable. This image captures the immense scale of the gathering, with thousands of attendees sitting directly on the ground, waiting to see what would happen next. The breaking point came during the formal leadership sessions. The moderate leader, Firoz Shah Mehta, finally made his move, putting forward a plan to officially scrap those 4 aggressive resolutions from the previous year. The reaction was immediate. The nationalists refused to let the resolutions die. Arguments erupted, shouting drowned out the speakers, and the meeting quickly collapsed into total physical chaos, with chairs and shoes being thrown across the pavilion. In just a few chaotic hours, the single largest organization fighting for Indian independence had completely shattered into 2 hostile camps. When the dust finally settled, the moderates drew a hard line. They expelled the aggressive nationalists, effectively pushing them out of the organization entirely. The Indian National Congress, once a massive umbrella for all viewpoints, fell completely under the control of the moderate faction. Because the power shift was so total, the surviving party took on a new nickname. It became known as the Mehta Congress, named after the moderate leader who had engineered the takeover. With the more aggressive faction cast out, the unified front was gone. For several years, the movement for independence slowed, as the two groups spent more energy attacking each other's legitimacy than they did challenging the British Empire. If you are preparing for the TNPSC Group 4 exam, this historical fracture is a key topic. Let's do a quick review of the exact facts you need to know. Where did the Congress split? At the 1907 Surat Conference. Who was elected president? Moderate leader Rash Behari Ghosh. And the primary cause? The moderates tried to cancel the 4 1906 resolutions: Swaraj, Swadeshi, boycott, and national education. Remembering how these two groups disagreed is key to understanding the history of the freedom